run agro-export analysis, identify trends and patterns, track KPIs, and all of those things for Ministry of Agriculture. And you guys will come up with a dashboard to keep those metrics alive. You can attempt to do this. It's very easy. This is a very easy dashboard. Cool. If you want to do this, you're within your own liberty to just flex your creative system. But please, I want to see maximum participation in this project. It's a very simple question. It's very simple project. Very simple projects. If you can do this, that would be fantastic. You can do this. If you can't, just go ahead and put out the best you can. All right. Let me open. I want to open this. So this class is 1 hour. I have to be fast because I won't have another class after this one. We'll put the third. Favor.
Okay, sir. Good evening. I want to ask, I've been trying to sign up to this Power BI, but it's not possible. I've been encountering certain setbacks. Looking for it is actually demanded for a business, the company email address, and the rest of them. So I'm finding it difficult to sign up. How do we go about it?
What do you mean by you don't need any company email or business email to use Power BI? What did you do that is prompting you to do that?
Just to normal sign up, and it's bringing up other issues. I'm sure I'm not the only one encountering that.
Don't sign up. Just install the app and start using it. Forget about
But
the
in
sign
that
up.
case, we won't be able to share our projects and the rest of them.
Yes, you have to start. You take screenshots. That's just it. I'm still finding a way of getting that. The one I'm signed in, but it's not allowing me to share. I'm signed in, but it's not allowing me to share. If I want to share a project, it's not working. So that means this isn't working the way I want. If and when I find a solution that doesn't require pay, I will let you guys know. But if you want to start sharing, then you have to subscribe to their plans. But once I find a way around it, I'll let you guys know. Myself, I would love to share my own project, but it's not working. All right. We have just 49 minutes to cover this. So today we're going to talk about data modeling, right? We're going to talk about data modeling. You can see that even the visualization that Power BI is known for is the last thing you guys will talk about when if it takes over, because the visuals are not as important as these other parts. Okay, fine, they are all important, but you should make sure your data is cleaned, modeled, and analyzed properly before you even think of visualizing your dashboards or your findings. Okay. So what is data modeling? Data modeling is in Power BI. It is a critical step in creating effective reports and dashboards, right? It involves designing and organizing data to ensure it can be easily analyzed and visualized, right? So basically, when it comes to data modeling, it comes in when you are working with when you're working with more than one table, right? Let me show you an example of what a model looks like. We're going to create a model that looks like this today. Right? You can see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 tables here. And we want to work with all 5 tables together in the sense that we can visualize something from here and here, here and here, and they will work together. If we write our DAX can work across all of the tables. So the tables, all 5 tables will be acting as one. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a model. It helps with analysis and visualization when you're working with more than one table. We're going to create this today. So now, like I said, data modeling in Power BI is a crucial step in creating effective and efficient reports and dashboards. It involves organizing and structuring data within Power BI to ensure that relationships between different data sources are properly defined and that the data is in a format that supports accurate analysis and reporting. So let's quickly talk about the concepts in data modeling. So the first concept we'll talk about is the tables, right? The table is pretty straightforward. In Power BI, data is imported into tables. Each table contains columns and rows, similar to an Excel spreadsheet. The tables can come from various sources, such as databases, Excel files, or online services. I'm inclined to believe everyone here knows what a table is. Right? Good. So that's the first component of a data model. So the second component is the relationships, right? So what are relations? When you get to SQL, when you get to DML and DDL, they will go in depth more on what relationships. But I'm going to give like a brief introduction. So relationships define how tables are connected to each other, right? They do. So if you look here at this diagram, you see these lines. See these lines that are connecting each other. These are the relationships. All together, these are the relationships. So the relationships are divided into, or you can see them, right? Four types. So these four types are called cardinalities. What is a cardinality? A cardinality refers to the nature of the relationship between tables. So these are the four types of relationships. So we have the one to many. We have the one to many, right? So this is the most common relationship where one record in a table, e.g., a product, relates to many records in another table, e.g., sales transaction. So what does this mean, one to many? Let's say you have two sheets. One has a table that houses all of the products you have in your business, and the other sheet has the sales transactions. For example, the amount of sales you made. You will notice that even though there are one of each product in your product table in the sales, somebody can buy that product more than once. Are we together, class? So you using the cardinality of one to many will make you match these two tables together. Do you guys have any question? Any question? No confusions. We are cool to proceed, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes.
all right. So the second one here is many to one. So many to one just basically means the opposite of one to many, right? You can see this is the inverse of one to many records. So now you're using many, you're mapping many to one. So this, if you understand this, just flip it, you will get this, right? The third cardinality we have is the many to many, right? So this is used when many records in one table relates to many records in another table. And finally, we have the one-to-one. This is where one record in a table relates to exactly one record in another table. So these are the four cardinalities that determines the nature of the relationships we create between tables. Questions? Any question? Okay. Primary and foreign keys. Who here knows the definition of primary and foreign keys? Have you heard of that term before? Do you know what it means? Beatrice.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, I've heard of that word, primary and foreign keys. Primary keys, yeah, they are unique keys that is not shared by two persons. Just one is just one unique way of identifying it, and no two other way. That's how I knew about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's also hear from Glory Chiamaka.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, we can hear you now. There was an echo, but it's good.
Okay. Primary key is a unique identifier. No two persons share primary key, while a foreign key is a field in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Benedicta. Let's hear from her.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. So a primary key is like a unique identifier. For instance, like it can be like customer ID, that you can't change customer ID. Then a foreign key are keys that refer to primary key, like it can change anytime.
Okay. All right. So today's class will be brief, so that I will quickly go and get food. I never chopped since morning, and if I have another class immediately after this one, that means now like 9 o'clock. I even have one after that 9 o'clock, an impromptu session with someone. If I don't go out now to get something, then yeah, I'm not go chop today. Unless I go buy potato use spam your chop, and I don't want to eat that this evening. So now we have the primary keys and we have the foreign keys, right? So primary keys are columns. These are unique for no value. If you teleport the food. So these primary keys are columns, right, that are used to establish relationship between tables. So now the primary key is always a column that contains unique identifiers, right? What does that mean? No two values are the same, and it is not null, it is not empty. It is not empty. And it is there in the main table. Thank you guys very much. It's then the main table. Why the foreign key? The foreign key is a primary key also, right? But it is there in the related tables. So if a primary key can also be a foreign key. I'll show what I mean by that. But we'll come back to this. So this is the fourth component. So we'll have the tables, we'll have the relationships, we have the cardinality, which is in line with the relationships, and we've talked about primary and foreign keys. Now we're going to talk about schemas, right? So we'll have this. What is a schema? Anyone? Does anyone know what a schema is? Have you heard of that word before? Heritage.
A schema is a structure of a data.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a structure of data. It might not be just a data, but the structure is the keyword there. So that's very good. Benedicta, let's hear from you as well. Benedicta.
Okay, is a database structure.
Okay, it's also a structure of a database. That's also correct. Susan.
refers to the structure or blueprint that defines the organization of a data set.
Also very correct. Let's hear from Gloria as well.
Mine is in the chat, sir.
Sorry?
It's a blueprint or structure. It's a blueprint or structure that shows how data is organized and equally the relationship between data elements within a database. Thank you.
All right. And finally, let's hear from Kinlade.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. For me, it is an arrangement of the relationship between data. Just like the word arrangement.
All right. You guys are all correct in your own terms, but let's quickly get the definition of a schema online. Let's see. Please, if I know anybody where they find tutor, please refer me. If you guys need anyone looking for a data analyst to work on jobs, contracts, or full-time, also refer me as well. All right. I don't want schema in a psychological sense. Let's go down to let's go in database or DBMSs. That's what the schema is. So a database schema defines as the I'm coming. Let me start afresh. A database schema defines how data is organized within a relational database. So this is the inclusive of logical constraints such as table names, fields, data types, and thank you guys very much, and relationships between these entities, right? So it's all refers to the structure and how data is organized. So you all are correct. Cool. So we have two major types of schemas. There are more, but these are the two major ones, and we'll focus more on this star schema because snowflakes is complex and it will mess you guys heads up. Let me show you guys what a snowflake and what a star schema looks like. This is what the star schema looks like. All right. This is what the snowflake looks like. Can you see? So let's talk about it. It's literally the same data, but look at how this is modeled and look at how this is modeled. So for the star schema is a simple data model with a central fact table, right? Connected to multiple dimensional or dimension table. Now let's take a look at this. Let me show you what a fact table is. So a fact table is a table that houses all of the primary keys, right? All of the major informations, all of the primary keys and major information of the company, of the business. Why the dimensional tables are tables that houses characteristics of each primary key. Can you see? You can see the product ID, everything relating to product ID, you can see them here. Everything relating to customer ID, you can see them here. So the fact table houses all of these keys with the general or the most important data, while the dimension table houses the characters or characteristics attached to each dimension or key. Question? You have questions? Praise.
Hello? Okay.
Now, sure.
Good evening, sir. So please, I didn't get your description of the stack table. Like,
Let me. All right. Hold on. if you guys have the time, I can drop a link to a drive. I don't know if I've dropped it before. This drive has some books. This drive has some books. Consider who is coming here to make copies of these things. You can see books on Power BI, very big book. They're big. You can see the data. If you want to learn more on data modeling, read this data warehouse toolkit. If you want to learn statistics for data scientists, you can read this. If you want to venture into machine learning, you have this. I have one for Excel, another for statistics, another for Excel for data analysis. I have storytelling. Also, it's good to read this. It's good to read this. Who made copies of all of these things? Who made copies of all of these things? Let me quickly delete them. So there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 books here, and I will add more once I get access to them. Some of these books are expensive. If you know O'Reilly, right, and Riley, see O'Reilly and Wiley, these books are very expensive. So let me quickly just copy the link. Let me drop it here. Somebody can copy it and probably drop it in the chat. I'm dropping it here now. Let's take a look at facts and dimensional tables. All right. So fact tables and dimensional tables are key components of a schema in a data warehouse. Right now, we are venturing into the world of data engineering now. Right. So fact table and dimension tables are key components of a schema in the data warehouse. Let me zoom in. It's not about searching for books, but it's about going for the best one. But I'll check it out. Send me a link privately. Let me check it out. The person, the ocean stuff. I don't know what that is, but just send me a link. Let me check it out, because I need to compile more books for people who are. All right. So dimensional, let's talk about it. So a fact table contains records that combines attributes from different dimensional tables. These records allow users to analyze different aspects of their businesses, which can aid in decision making and improving the business. Right? So a fact table contains records that combine attributes from different dimension tables. These records allow users to analyze different aspects of their businesses, which can aid in decision making and improving the business. While dimension tables, on the other hand, provide the context and background information for the measures recorded in the fact tables. One of the main differences between fact tables and dimensional tables is that dimensional tables contains the attributes that the measures in the fact tables are based on. This is what I was trying to tell you guys. Looking at this, right? At the end of the day, the major things we want to work on is the revenue and the units sold, right? All of these things here contribute to the revenue. All of these things here contribute also to these are attributes of the revenue and the units sold. Same thing here. So I can say, okay, fine. What is the revenue over time? Like which month did we make the most revenue? Can you see? Which month did we make the most sales? Which quarter, which year want to perform a time series? You get. So at the end of the day, these are our major factors. These are what we're using as attributes to it. I don't know if I'm making sense. I know it's a little bit complex. It is new, but by the time you read more on it, you will get a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. So this is how it is. So we're going to be focusing more on the star schema. We're going to be focusing more on the star schema. For the snowflake is the more complex model where dimension tables are normalized, leading to additional tables connected to primary dimension. I'm not going to focus on this. Like I told you guys, it's a little bit too complex. This is what it looks like. It's literally the same data set, but this is what this one looks like. So let's leave this out for now. So what else? We have still on the components, we have the calculated columns and measures. Again, you can create new columns using DAX, and you can create analysis or aggregations using measures, right? Data types. So correctly defining data types by columns, e.g., text, number, dates. They are all essential for accurate calculations and visualizations. Then we have the normalization and denormalization. You should learn how to normalize your data, which is organizing data to minimize redundancy, typically seen in Snowflake. I'll have denormalization, which is to reduce the complexity of data, but by combining tables. So you guys can read up on this. So I'm just going straight into, because of time, I'm going straight into the practical. So you can see the steps. You can see the steps here. It's going to be uploaded for you guys, but we're going to do all of these steps now. I'm going to do all of these steps. You can read this up on your own. I'm going to quickly import my data sets. I'm going to import all of the tables I will be using. So we are at day. Ah, shit. We are at day. Let me confirm the location. Well, let me just quickly go to the drive. I think I have a drive here. I kept it. We have 5 tables here. I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to load them. It's loading. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Still loading. Still loading. All right. So you can see all of the tables here. So we're going to quickly create our connection now. So we'll go to the, you see it has helped us by default. It's going to help us, right? Create connection. So Power BI is very smart though. Even without you prompting, it's going to help us create connections. You understand? But it's not done right. Are we together? So I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete all of these connections and we're going to do them ourselves. I think you can zoom in here so you guys can see better. Yes, you can. I don't know why Power BI, I know they allow person zoom in every area. So I'll just take it here and I'll keep this here. This data set is not clean enough, so there will be some mistakes, but you points. Yes. Patience.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Sir, please,
Yeah.
this data set that you just brought, is it that it was already pre-arranged or how? I did not really get it, sir, because I'm using my phone. I'm still having issues with my laptop, sir.
Yeah, I've helped you guys to compile this. I'll drop the data set for you. It's not clean
Okay,
enough.
sir.
Why I've not dropped it yet. But I'll try to get rid of. You'll see why I said it's not clean enough. DK Joy.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Joy. I thought your hand was up, DK. All right. So now, what do we do? This is how you create relationships. So I'll say, okay, fine. What is the primary key? What primary key is contained here and here, class? What primary key? Remember, a foreign key is also a primary key in the dimensional table. So what primary key is here and here? Osaru.
Product ID.
So I'll drag the product ID and I'll put
Okay,
it
can
here.
you?
Yes, product ID. So I'll drag it. It's not clicking, yes, and I'll drop it on the product ID. Can you see? So now ask you to confirm. Both of them look alike, and automatically it has recorded many to one. So you click OK and you save. So I'm going to do the same for all of them. For here, it's going to be customer ID. I'll drag the customer ID and I'll put it here. And I'll save. I will drag.
Stop.
And finally, date. So just like that, we've created our star schema. Can you see? Created our star schema. So if I were to come back here to our table view and to our report view, and I bring out the charts, and I say, okay, fine, I want to find out which product, which brand Did we make the most money from? All I need, I'll take this from here and I'll go to the facts table and I'll grab the total amount. No, I'll take the unit price. I'll put it, no, total amount, and I'll put it here. And you see, and just like that, you can see that it's now working as if they are one tables because we've created a connection. So we literally drag one from one table and one from another table, and we're able to get it. All together, class. So this is how conditional, this is how relationships on a surface level, this is how data modeling works. All right, questions? Questions? Praise.
Sir, in the schema, unit price was also in common, or was it not a primary key?
What did you say?
In the schema area, the unit price was also in common. Like, I don't know if you could go back, then I'd show you.
Price.
Unit price. Yeah, I don't. It was common before. I saw the equation thing between the dimension product and fact sales.
Okay, so let me ask you guys, class, why did we decide to go with the product ID rather than the unit price? Let me drop the hands. Let me be sure you guys understood. Yeah, you can raise up your hand. All right, Deborah Chisom, why did we decide to go with the product ID? Chisom, Deborah.
Okay, sir. The product ID is unique to each product. Like, is whenever you search for that product, it will be particular to that product. Let me put it that way. While unit price can always change for that particular product. It could be sold like 50 naira today. Tomorrow the price might change to 100 naira. That's what I think.
Two products can even have the same price. And if you're using a column that has now introduced duplicates, it becomes a problem when you're creating your model. I told you guys, always match primary to foreign keys. These are identifiers that are unique and are not empty. Can you see why we decided to go with that? Okay, any other question? Who has questions? I have just 4 minutes or less. You guys here. Raise your hand again, please. Mary Jane.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good
Can you
evening.
hear me? Okay,
Yes, I
so
can.
my question in this schema now, I noticed that when you're matching different unique identities to each one, the one for the dimension store to the fact field showed one to many, while others were saying many to one. Or is there, like, I don't know. I think I just wanted an explanation.
The one what?
Okay, while you're matching, like, okay, the very first one you're matching to the fact, from the fact sales to the dimension product, it showed when you're matching, yes, product ID showed, yes, many to one. But for the other one, the dimension and store, that's the one by the right of, yes, this one, it's only one to many. Okay. All right, thank you.
Now, if I want this thing to show many to one, instead of connecting it the way I did, I will connect it like this. I'll connect it like this. It's still going to work. It's now showing, okay, this is many to one. If I drag this to this, let's see. If I use answer that is one to many. Why? Because in the dimension store, there are just two products. There are just two stores here. But here, multiple people are buying from this store. So these store IDs are going to be more. They are going to be many. That is why that works. Any other question? Any other question? Favor.
Okay, so I want to know, in what scenario can we specifically make use of these schemas? Like, I just want to know. And then about the tables, where are we going to get all those tables from? When we are
I'll
provided
upload
a
it.
work to do, we are going
I'll upload
to.
it.
No, apart from the one you want to upload for us, take for instance, we want to work for another person. Where are we getting the tables from?
Either the company or the person will provide the data sets, or you'll be tasked with finding or gathering the data yourself. Data modeling comes in when you're working with more than one table, or when you want to break down tables. I don't have the time. I would have showed you what I did. I broke down a table of about 60 columns into seven tables, and I created a schema for a project in SQL I'm working on currently. So you can break large tables into smaller tables, create your connections. They might give you your data in this format. You have to create your connections, or you will be tasked to gather the data. When you gather the data, you set it up in a way that it works like this. Is that okay? So thank you, lady. God, please. Ademola, please try and make it quick, please, so that I can quickly rush out to get something before my next class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, please, I want to get something on this schema. If at all we have table like this, how do we know what to work on at first? Like on this dimension products, the second thing you did to merge this thing, you work on the current idea. I think. What am I saying here? So if at all we are to work on this particular thing, is there a format? Is there rules to it? That's what I want to get.
Read that book, the warehouse toolkits. That will provide much more in depth into
Okay.
this is a career on its own. Data engineering, data warehousing is a career on its own. They are data modeling engineers that this is all they do. So we are just scratching the surface. But if you want to learn more, just read that book. But with this basic information, you can basically model any data you want for your analysis.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So I really appreciate these 6 weeks I've been with you guys. I'll still be with you guys. I'll pop in once in a while. Your meetings, your classes, I'll also be there. All of the chats it's not like I'm ignoring it, but I will reply to every single one of them. I'm also there in the group chat. So if you have any issues, just drop us in the group. If I see it, I'll reply. But thank you, ladies, very much. And I really appreciate this opportunity. I will see you guys at the end of your 3 months training.
Sir, we enjoy the opportunity learning with you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So expect my